funny part of that is at the end, that is the way Kent Brewer is. That wasn't sped up like everything else. He's just, my brother described him as a 4-year-old in a candy store that had to go to the bathroom. He was wiggly like that in Victory Lane. He's that excited.
He's always excited like that, though. When I called him the other day to bring him on here, I was actually like refreshed because nobody's ever showed that much like excitement about coming on with us.
Yep.
He said he's never been asked to be on anything before, and he's super excited about being here.
That's cool. I'm glad. I can't wait to have him on. Kent Brewer's going to be our guest here on the Last Lap Live. I'm Brian Smith, in case you didn't know, and this is Shelly This Guy. And Jordan Ryan's going to come on Tubi one Saturday night again. So
he's replacing Chris Andrews, who bailed on us at the last minute.
He did.
Chris, if you're out there on your jet ski, I'm assuming I know why. Yeah.
Because he was out on the jet ski, or he didn't want to talk about his weekend?
He doesn't seem to have a problem talking about it, but I think he was probably out on his jet ski.
Oh, okay. That's where you spent some time, too.
Yesterday I did a little bit.
Finally got to be summertime.
Finally got a 90-degree day where every time I have a free minute, we're done at the racetrack at 70. So yesterday I took
went on vacation last week, and I think Wednesday and Thursday we were sitting around the campfire, and I had jeans, a sweatshirt, and a stocking hat on. It was 51 degrees where we were at. It was crazy. And we were in Ohio.
I was going to say, and you weren't really on vacation because we were talking about that. I watched your pictures, and I looked forward to seeing what you guys, but you guys did a lot of stuff, a lot of like physical stuff.
Yeah, a lot of hiking, a lot of disc golfing. That was basically hiking away. But we had a good time. I went back to 2 years ago. We went to a place on the other side of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and we were going to go on this 2-mile hike, and we made it a quarter mile. I was running up and down off the path that you weren't supposed to because it's dangerous, and they've had injuries and deaths on this path. And I ran down and broke my toe. So, and I had to race at Attica that Friday, by the way. But anyway, so we went back to that place so we could.
And did you race with a broken toe?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, we started 15th and finished 5th that night, I think. But so we made it back, and we made the whole path. So that was worth it.
That's good. No broken bones.
Nope, nobody got hurt. We didn't have to go to any hospitals or anything.
Good deal. And the girls, they keep up with you on these 2-mile hikes?
Well, we try and keep up with them. They just go, they're running up. We went to, there was a bunch of waterfalls or streams, kind of waterfall things that went down into this bigger river that we were hiking around, and they were way, way, way up the hill, standing on top of the waterfall, waving, hey, there's another one up there. They'd go up another 100 feet. Hey, look up there, there's another one up there, and they keep going up the mountainside.
Endless energy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I always tell people that my little one, man, I wish I had her energy, they say. And I said, you do have her energy. You're in a 200-pound body. It's the same amount of energy. It's just a bigger person to move.
Yeah, for sure.
But so we raced on Saturday.
We did race.
It was touchy there for a while because they watered. I guess Farmer put a lot of water on the track on
the night
Friday night.
Yeah.
And then we had a steady rain for, I don't know how long. I woke up at like 7 o'clock, I think, on Saturday morning, and it was raining, and I dozed back off and went to sleep, and I woke back up at 9, and it was still raining.
And see, that's so weird because it missed. And I was watching like Facebook and stuff before I went to the racetrack. I actually didn't, normally I get there at like 10 in the morning. I didn't roll in until about 12:30 because I knew it was going to be a slower morning, and it never really rained at our place. It just kind of missed it, and I thought, well, we'll be okay. And then when I got there and I seen the front stretch, I was like, I'm not so sure we're going to be okay. And we opened the gates and everything, and we got about an hour into it, and I get a text from Farmer and he says, I don't think this is going to happen. So at that point, I want it to happen because we're there, we're working,
right.
Everybody's there, you got the concessions up, and all that stuff that nobody sees, and I was a little disappointed because we don't normally give up that easy.
Especially since it was going to be sunny the rest of the day.
And that's what we kept counting on. They kept talking about the sun coming out. Well, the sun really didn't come out until we got racing. And he said, yeah, I think that we're going to have to, he said, I don't want to get anybody hurt, is what he told me. And I said, is it really that bad? So I walked out under the flag stand, and it looked pretty bad.
Yeah,
and
front stretch especially.
It was like a loop-de-loo up there, and I kept telling myself, it's really not that bad. And he said, give me 30 minutes. So I went around and I prepared everybody in 30 minutes. And I think I told you, I really don't think this is going to happen. And within that 30 minutes, he texted me and said, we're going to go for it. So, of course, you get mixed reviews. You get the people upset with you. You get the people who loved it.
Right. I saw Christopher Bell. He almost crashed. blew a tire out, almost flipping it over, and he loved it. Yeah, he said it was a great racetrack.
Yep.
There was a couple guys like that. Rob Cheney walked up to the racetrack, who ended up winning the 410 feature, and my brother saw him, and he was like, oh boy, and then he ends up winning the feature. Now, Rob's good on that kind of
He
stuff.
is. He's a kind of a cowboy up,
Right.
kind of.
And my brother said, that guy's good at this stuff, and he's thinking, whoa, boy, look out. But it worked out good for him. He started on the front row, and I think he led every lap, didn't he?
Yep, I
For
think
sure.
he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
So-
like, you and I have talked about this before. I like those kind of racetracks. I like.
I don't mind watching. I mean,
You had a really good run though.
well, yeah. I mean, the track.
I mean, I don't know how
out.
scary it was for you, or if you hated it. And I know a lot of your deal is your budget, conscientious about it, and which I'm sure everybody is. But I thought, you were out there racing, and you raced hard, and you kept at it and kept
When I
digging.
talked to you about maybe not racing earlier, that was fine with me at that point. I mean, I hated to get there and I want to race and all that, but like you said, the track's rough and people don't see. They see guys out there running around and nobody can crash, but they can still tear stuff up on a racetrack or on a race car. Like Dwayne Zablocki had a cracked front axle they didn't know about. I've raced on tracks like that before where it breaks the working arms and you don't know it till afterwards. The mud gets everywhere. I just went to the car wash today, and Carrie Ann and I went over, and it took us 2 hours to get
I bet.
mud out of everywhere. And then when you're finally done, you look and there's still mud falling out of it. So that gets in the radiator and the throttle linkage, and it's just everywhere. That you don't really notice that, even if you didn't get upside down. Although there were several guys that got upside down, that got into the curb, and the curb was, it was easily a foot tall in places, which you can run against it, but if you get over it, like you saw in the opening there, Brock Martin got over it, got upside down, Christopher Bell almost did, Cap Henry almost did, Chris Andrews crashed by himself.
You know what I'm finding the common denominator in those people that you're just telling me right there? There is listen to who you just said.
Yeah, I know that.
And I'm not bad, but they're all around the top gassers.
Right.
They're not pedal around the bottom or patient. And I'm not. That's not a bad thing or a good
No,
thing.
I
It's
mean-
just all those guys you just named off to me. I'm listening to you and I'm thinking they're all around the top gassers.
Right, and that's the price you pay sometimes
Yep.
for running up there, and I know that. That's why I'm generally around the bottom. But the track opened up to at least a groove and a half. Which is fine. There was a groove and a half that you could race, and then there was the guys right up against the cushion. Because I got to race with Todd Heller and Cole Duncan and Cap Henry, and we had good racing where we weren't crashing into each other because it was too skinny. And I assumed the same stuff was happening behind us and in front of us, but.
I don't know how Christopher Bell kept it as long as he did. That kid is.
He's one of the best race car drivers going right now. It's
And
just-
to get up there on top of that stuff and do what he does. At one time, I swear to you, I seen only the right rear on the racetrack.
Oh, I'm sure.
It literally looked like just the right rear was the only thing on that
There's
car.
pictures of me with only 2 wheels on the ground, so that he probably didn't have any on the ground
Yeah.
at different times.
Yeah.
Several guys were like that.
And if you had the opportunity to stand on the front stretch, I'm assuming it's the grip or the wheelies coming. Chad Kamenau was pulling monster wheelies coming
Yeah.
off 4.
I know. I got to see some of because my brother videotapes all my races, so I got to see some of that stuff too. So that's entertaining. Like we talked about, I'm not necessarily that good on that stuff, and if I hadn't qualified well, I probably would have basically started in part to save stuff. But I've been up in the stands watching, because there are guys like Christopher Bell and Brian Sabito and Rob Cheney and
And it
Travis
ended up
Fido.
being okay race. There was the 305s. I did real well on it. The 410s struggled. We only finished
I
11
didn't-
cars, but
Yeah, I didn't get to see the 305 stuff. I heard Tyler Gunn should have had it won, and a right rear wheel broke.
yeah, the hub broke.
The hub broke. No?
Yeah,
And he didn't get upside down.
he
though.
did not get upside down.
That's fortunate.
And if you know Tyler, you get a chance to meet Tyler.
Yeah, I
Nice
hope so.
kid. Just
Right.
We had
and
him
how
as a
many?
guest.
Pardon me?
We had him as a guest.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
he's
it's
led
different.
he's led a race at
At
Attica,
Attica,
coming down
yeah.
for the checker, crashed it, and then this, and and he pretty much had that field covered. I'm no disrespect to Jordan, he's going to be on here, and I think Jordan said on the front stretch that he was a second place car at best. But what a heartbreaker for him. I seen the car come to a stop, and I thought, what the heck?
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
All right. Well, let's What do we got for highlights? We got the
410s.
Go ahead and show the 410s and get them out of the way, and then we'll come back with Jordan Ryan and Kent Brewer, the other 2 feature winners from Saturday.
He has already caught the back of the pack. Rob Chaney flies out front. Christopher Bell challenges Chad Kemenoff for the 3rd spot. Rob Chaney. The car bites very hard in turn 1, but he maintains the lead. Here comes Chris Andrews running to the inside of Rob Chaney. Five flanges go in the air, 5 to go for Rob Chaney. Look upside down, Chris Andrews. White flag in the air for Rob Chaney out of turn 4. Flies down the backstretch. Through turns 3 and 4, checkered flag to Rob Chaney.
Great, Professor, so I want to use the square root method here, right?
We're making it more convenient to go to college. Learn on your own terms at Terra State Community College, with day, evening, weekend, and online classes that make college work around your life. Register now at terra.edu.
Okay, cool. Towel?
Fast points.
Hey, are we back?
We're back.
Hey, welcome back to the Last Lap Live. I'm Brian Smith, Shelly this guy, Steven running the board over there, and we've got Jordan Ryan in black and Kent Brewer in the gray with the striped shirt. So our other feature winners from Saturday night. Jordan won the 305s, and Kent won the. What's the dirt truck sponsor? I don't know the dirt truck sponsor.
AAA.
AAA dirt trucks. Oops. Don't kick the table like I just did. Let's got the microphones on.
Okay.
But we'll start with you, Jordan. Let's welcome back to the show. You were on with us early.
Early in the year.
Hopefully you can talk a little more
I hope.
than you did then. You got a little more to talk about now. You got some feature wins and.
How many you got?
5 altogether this year and 3 at Fremont, 2 at Attica. So
That's
in a
going
bad
pretty
year.
good.
That is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Consistent. So pretty
not,
good year.
Not leading the fast points though, because
no, wrecked twice, in both fast races. So that pretty much kicked me out of those.
Where do
and
you run? 5th? 4th? 5th?
Fifth in the fast points. Yeah.
leading the points at Fremont though.
Fremont, Attica. Yeah.
Oh, you're leading them both.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, that's interesting. You're leading the points. At
That's
both
my goal.
places and
Win both of those, and that'd be good.
Yeah, that's been done a few times. Caleb Griffith did it
Yeah.
in 2002, I think.
Did Mintz do it?
Well,
Or
in
was he-
305s. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Mintz
Brian
did
Scott
too.
did it twice, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it in 04. But so yeah, that'd be a good deal.
Yeah.
What's changed over last year when the 1 car was so dominant, and now the 5 car is dominant?
Yeah, Jordan, what's changed?
I really don't know. I just got more comfortable in my car, and me and my dad got more comfortable together, and figuring stuff out, and then racing better. And Dustin aren't doing too bad either, though. I mean, they're still up front. They're still a tough competitor, but just not as many wins. So
It's balanced out more
Yeah.
this year.
A little bit. 5's a lot of wins.
yeah.
Yeah.
But 12's gonna be hard to beat in 1 year, so I don't know if I can do that.
How many
Not
races
the
you got
rest-
left over at Attica? There's There's not too many left. are there?
4 for us, I think. 4-point races. I think we just have one regular race after that, and then we
Is
still
it
have,
crazy that there's only 4 races left?
I think like 9 at Fremont or something left.
Yeah, we still got it.
Yeah, a lot left.
Yeah, there's not that many regular shows for the 410s.
Mm-mm.
I'm not sure how many, but there's not very
Yeah.
many left because there's the specials, the Jim Ford and the
World
World of Outlaws
Yeah.
and the Boss Race and all that.
Yeah.
So, Kent, you also won on Saturday,
Oh yeah.
and you beat that 7B car. You had a shot at him a couple weeks ago when he took the $5,000. Couldn't quite hold him off, but you got her done this time.
Yep, it was really close. I mean, we've been really close the last couple of weeks, and yeah, we finally got it done Saturday, which I didn't think we could ever win at Fremont. I thought that was
Really?
going to be a really hard thing to do. Against Sean and the competition that races in them trucks, you've got to be really on your game.
Well, you've got a couple wins over there already, don't you?
One,
just one?
the only one in that truck. I had one from years ago when we raced street stocks, but
Oh.
that truck division is a tough division to win in. Them guys are not, I mean, it looks like it's not as easy as it looks.
I don't think it looks easy. I watch him every week. I know it's not easy. The 7 truck, Valeni's been really good this year, but if you take him out of it, there's 5 or 6 trucks right behind that are all really even and running really close.
Yep, and that's what makes that division so well, is that the competition is really close and really close competition. I mean, and that makes that racing just that much better.
We were talking earlier about the track conditions, and you had a different take on it. You got out of the truck and really liked it.
Well, oh yeah, it was rough. That was a cowboy track. That was like, the harder you drove it, the more you went skying, and that's what I say about that track, that it doesn't really, we can have a slick track, we can have a wet track, or, a smooth track, and sometimes you get a rough track, and that's just part of that's the race. I mean, everybody has the same condition to deal with. And sometimes you got to slow down on a track like that, even though the key, every race car wants to go as fast as you can. Sometimes going slower.
You got to keep the wheels on the ground.
That's right. Yeah. And I think that on a track like that, that's where you got to be more. You can't try to race as hard. You got to be more worried about your equipment.
Did some interesting lap traffic too. I guess you could say that came into play there a couple times in the race.
And I've never encountered lap traffic like that before. I really, and there is, again, when you got guys like Sean, and as good as a racer as he is, I mean, we could have bumped and it have ended the whole thing. But as good as a racer as he is, and he races really clean, and he knows that you got to keep the wheels on it in order to get it to the front, and that's part of the racing. So in that truck division,
You guys took the white flag, and there was a lapped car coming that you were going to catch, and fortunately you caught him going into one after the checkered, but it was tight there.
yeah, I didn't know. I thought for sure. I was hoping he was going to keep going and didn't slow down, because I thought I was going to run into him. I really did.
Did you know? I think it was probably 3 or 4 to go. You had a 5 or 6 truck lead. That it looked kind of comfortable at that point.
And at that point, I didn't hear anything. You can hear Sean. That's one thing for sure. You can hear Sean and Dan when they're right there. You can hear them, so you can tell when you get out a link or two, and it's like, oh, it quiets up a little bit. So at that point, that's when it's like, oh man, I think I got him, and then I heard him again, and it's like, oh, we better step on it.
He kind of gave me a good outlook, a better outlook, because after Saturday and you get all beat up about the racetrack and everybody's upset with you. And I called Ken to be on, and he told me that he almost felt bad taking our money because he had so much fun on that racetrack.
and that's
It was
true.
so refreshing to me to hear something positive.
Oh yeah, because that's the way it is. I mean, Fremont Speedway has so much heritage and so much history that it's just an honor to race at Fremont. And every Saturday night, we got so many good, talented drivers, young guys
And
coming up.
that's so nice to hear you say that. And again, I'm going to go back to age, and I think that
And
you get it. You
Yeah.
understand that.
Do you see that, Jordan, already? I mean, do you have that feeling about Fremont yet?
He's not going to
mean?
answer
Yeah, I
this
could-
because I already barked at him about the 19 to 25-year-olds being prima donnas.
Yeah, but I know there's a lot of history there and stuff, and I know it's a good opportunity to race there and stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on the track, and I mean, it's hard to figure out and stuff, but it's always a good time racing there.
So when you're a track champion, you might get all that then.
I hope I am, and yeah, that would feel real good to be a track champion.
Ken's
at
been
Fremont.
around a long time, so
Yeah.
you get the specialness of the.
Well, and I've raced at other facilities, and there's nothing like racing at Fremont Speedway. It's the fans, the community, the racetrack. It's just good hometown racing. Just
And it's
good.
kind of family, isn't it?
It is.
I've always,
It
I
is.
say that, I tell Rich that all the time. I
Yep.
feel like even though we all get on each other's nerves and everybody's on edge and poking and picking at each other all the time, everybody's pretty tight. I mean, for them, I always
Oh.
feel like I'm home when I'm there. And of
Exactly.
course, I've been.
No shit. No one helps you at all.
No.
Yeah, and it's like you don't go to Eldora and get that feeling. You don't go to Attica, and I'm not bashing Attica,
No.
but you don't get that you don't get that.
And it's just a hometown atmosphere that everybody belongs there. Everybody that's there belongs there.
And it's almost like everybody feels that they have an investment in it as well. Like it's
Yeah.
part of their place
Yeah.
too, I think.
Oh, it
I like
is.
to think that.
Yeah. And that's what I can't say enough about Fremont. Just because I've raced at a couple other facilities, and the people, the way the track, you get to what it is, because it's a dirt track, but it's really an honor to race with, like I
Yeah.
say.
And you're saying a lot
It's-
there too. That it's a dirt track. I think sometimes people forget that we're working with dirt.
Right.
We're
yeah.
working with Mother Nature.
Mother
dirt,
Nature.
and-
Every day. That you can't go out and get the same race surface 2 times in the same week. Chances are it might rain or the moisture or whatever.
It's gonna be.
And, yeah.
I was riding through the pits before we hot lapped or anything, and him and his dad were standing out by the car, and I was going to stop down there and say something about how there's going to be plenty of moisture on the bottom, because Jordan is one of the best on the bottom.
Yes.
He is really good up against the tires. He's won some races down there that,
Yeah.
just hitting right on the tires. And I was going to make a joke about how you should have plenty of moisture down
Oh
there.
yeah, it should be right. Like
Right.
I went to the top in the feature and riding around the top, I couldn't catch Gun. Weaver kept getting closer and closer on yellows. My dad by the fence, get to the bottom because that's where you're good, and he's gonna be there. So just go back down there.
That takes a lot. You're a bottom guy. I always tease you about going when I see you
I don't think I like
around.
the way she said that.
Around.
Weird.
It takes but it takes a lot to pedal a car around the bottom. I know it
Oh.
takes more patience to do that than to
I don't
bust
know.
the top.
I don't know, because if it was easier to run the top, I'd do that.
Yes.
Would ya?
Like my dad always tells me it's easier to run top. I was like, I don't think so because I like running the bottom. That's where I'm comfortable. So I'm just gonna stick to that.
I
Ran the
know.
top once and it flipped.
Yeah.
Jordan is tough on the bottom. When the
for
6
sure.
car was leading the race a couple weeks ago, and I turned to Lindsay and she said, Just Dustin's really good up there. And I said, watch Jordan Ryan. He's coming around the bottom. And I mean, just every lap I could see him just picking off a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
It's just getting your left side tires in the moisture and pretty much hitting your marks every lap, and you should be fine. Be able to run it like the top.
Makes
And
it sound pretty easy.
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard.
I think the same thing. I wouldn't have said it that way because it can't. It's not
I
that
know
easy.
it's
but
not that easy.
Let's do something different here, Steven. Let's go ahead and let's run the 305 highlights
Okay.
and run a commercial, and then we'll come back instead of doing the same thing over and over and over again. Let's do something different this week. Go to commercial. and We'll come back with.
You're
Kent
wanting
and
fresh air,
Jordan.
aren't you?
Something like that.
Good stuff.
Tyler Gunn rockets out front. Ryan French trying to hold off Jordan Ryan for second. Jordan Ryan and Paul Weaver get around Ryan French for the second and third spots. Down to complete lap number 5. Tyler Gunn, good race now for second. Jordan Ryan and Paul Weaver. High flanges go in the air. 5 to go for Tyler Gunn. He will catch the back of the pack. Zach Kramer off the high side of turn 4 to bring out the cut. Tyler Gunn, a great restart. Down the front stretch. Oh, he loses the right rear wheel. Oh my goodness.
No way.
Tyler Gunn loses the right rear wheel. See the white flag out of turn 4. Jordan Ryan looking for his 3rd win of the season.
You know that one's yours, right? They've each had 8, you 7. Is it because you're a slower eater or not man enough to claim what's rightfully yours? First it's a wing, then it's your seat at the table. So tell me, are you a little baby boy? Or are you a big, strong man?
I'm a big, strong man.
Okay. Grab a seat. The game is on.
Buffalo Wild Wings, Wings Beer Sports.
Welcome back to the Last Lap Live. We got to watch the highlights there of the 305s, and you had some competition there with Weaver was catching you there. You were talking about running the top, and then the yellow came out, and unfortunately Tyler's right rear wheel fell off. But
my car kept getting tighter and tighter up there, and I kept seeing his nose and then his whole car, and then he was a little bit ahead of it at one point, and I knew I had to get back to the bottom, or else I was going to probably be
Did you
third
wave him
then.
over and say,
No.
give me
Yeah. I wish it worked like that.
it did get pretty smooth down there on the bottom, though.
It did, yeah. It was probably a smooth place to race. The cushion got really choppy, and I knew in the 410 feature it got real choppy when Chris hit it up there in 3 and 4. So
I told Brian at the end of the night when we turn all the lights off and everything, the pace truck always sits under the flag stand so I can load all my stuff in it. And I knew there was you guys had some controversy. The women got barking with each other about some clapping going on for stuff. And
yeah,
go ahead.
I told my dad that's why they shouldn't show up at the racetrack. They just always bicker like that.
The women?
Yeah. Well, some of them, not.
It's true.
Geez, I don't know if you want to say that.
I say it all the time, and I've been doing this a long time, but I think that we're emotional. Women are really emotional. So
This is Shelly's rant segment.
Yeah.
Go ahead and let it all fly. Shelly sounds off there.
You know, and we get real emotional and tied up, invested in things, and then we blow off.
Yeah.
And I've always said there isn't one of us that can make a deal for you guys, but running our mouths can sure break a deal or mess up a deal for you guys. And I don't know. I just think that everybody just needs to take a deep breath. And, you know,
sit there and watch.
I know you guys had some controversy with the women. Going on, but I went out and I thought I'm going to go see what everybody's complaining about. So when I left with the pace truck that night, I waited for him to shut the lights off, and I made a lap around. And I really didn't think it was that rough around the bottom in the pace truck. So it felt smushy. It felt like I was driving on a sponge, but it didn't seem rough to me.
When you're talking to your dad and you're kind of trying to figure out the setup, what you're going to do to change it, do you use the word smushy?
Smushy.
I use slimy.
Slimy,
but not smushy.
But it didn't. Slimy to me is slippery. This was more like a spongy. I felt spongy.
Yeah. It's got a lot of bite coming out of it still. So I usually tell them.
And
different in the pace truck than what we would feel. Maybe similar to what you are with the tires a little bit skinnier.
But usually on a regular Saturday night when I leave, I get that wheel hopping around when I leave,
you get going.
or just when I leave. I always have to drive around
one and two. You can feel the sheep's foot on a regular night.
I couldn't the other night. It just felt smushy. It felt just nice. I mean, it didn't. I went all the way around, and normally I don't do that. I just drive around and go back out the pits. But I thought I'm gonna check this out and see what all these guys are crying about.
And because it was so moist, I think is probably what you were. And then along with that.
Show up to the racetrack on Monday, and Lindsay. I was telling Brian, Lindsay is our cleanup crew. She's Lindsay of 1. And we have someone come and pick up the trash, but she had this shovel, and she literally was holding it like a baseball bat, and we were trying to knock the mud off the front stretch fence. It's still there. I mean, we're hoping that if we left it there a couple of days, it'll dry, and we can just go back and start hitting on it again. But wow, there's a lot.
There's people sitting down in turn 1, and if you looked from the pit tower, you couldn't. I mean, you knew they were there. You could see little blobs, but the fence was all completely covered in dirt. I I can't imagine sitting right there. Or turn 4 where the turn 4 freaks are at. I mean, there's clouds of mud coming out this big to knock you out.
Well, when
and
you
people
walk
stay sitting there.
under the flag
Huge.
stand, Saturday or Sunday morning, I went up there and I just wanted to check. Usually, we stop up and check everything out and see what what it's like. And I walked under the flag stand and I looked down on one there, entering one, and there was all this. It looked like shredded softball, and I said, "Who got into the softball?" And Rich comes out and he goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "What's all that white stuff laying down there?" It was literally tear-offs. There's so many tear-offs. They looked white.
Wow.
There's just piles of it. So I'm assuming you guys must have pulled out.
So I had like 15 on for the feature, and my dad's like, "You better put more on than that." I'm like, "No, I don't need it." And then I got to thinking, I put 25 on, and ended up with 2.
Did you?
So
Did you really?
Usually the last 2 come off together.
It was crazy all the way around to about the center of 1 and 2. It just solid tear-offs. We
Yeah.
actually, normally we don't have to go out and pick them up.
Actually,
Yeah.
You had to go out and pick them up. There was that many of
I
them.
put 35 on for the feature.
Did you?
And I ended up with 15.
Mhm.
But I wanted to make sure that I
Yeah.
had plenty because that stuff stuck too. I mean, there was no wiping.
Yeah.
You had to pull a tear off. Them things are like, it's $25 a pack.
Yeah.
So it's like 80 cents a piece.
Yeah, like under
or
caution, I was trying to pick them off real easy. And
I know.
had
You
to
get pulling off.
yeah.
It's like, $1. You go down the back.
Yeah.
Oh,
there was another
$1.
one.
That's how I felt every time the water truck or what's the big truck other than the water truck that they had out there anyways with the big wheels. Every time it went around, I'm just seeing diesel dollars.
Yeah.
And when he said he was thinking about pulling the plug, I think people also forget that too, the amount of diesel money that we just every time they go around a lap, I'm like, oh gosh. And you look up in the crowd and you can literally count them, the people in the stands, and you just know you're taking a beating. Either way,
Yeah.
there's no.
It's a bad
Doesn't
system.
matter to win.
Yeah.
Because even if you would close, if you would have canceled, then you would have had all the people who did show up.
And you just kind of feel like when you do that and you get everybody there, you guys spend fuel money to come. You get your people drive there, and it's 7 o'clock by this time. Your whole night's gone.
Yep.
And regardless of what people think, we don't like to do that to people either. I hate driving to a racetrack and then sending me home after I'm already there.
Right, en route.
All the push guys put in 100 laps too. The push truck guys trying to run the track in to get it ready to go and all that stuff too.
Yeah, and we don't give them fuel. They
Right.
do it just
Yeah,
out
do that
of.
all on our-
We actually are giving them something this week for doing that. We bought them gas cards, but just to show our appreciation because they went out there. I can't imagine the pace truck came back from a full tank under half. Just the pace truck.
Wow, it had a full tank in it.
Yeah.
That's good.
I most generally have a full tank. But a couple weeks ago, I got stuck and I went to go do it, and then I got stopped at the car wash and I was gabbing, and I washed it, and I got to the racetrack, and Mike Bussey told me during the feature the gas light came on, and he said and it was on for a long time. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I just totally that's another thing.
Yeah.
Women, we gab,
Yeah.
and then we get sidetracked.
We had so many cautions and red flags in the 410 feature that we'd have an open red that let us put fuel in. I don't think that's technically a fuel stop, so I'm not really against that. I'm against fuel stops, but actually the lap before the red, my motor stuttered, and mine's a gas miser. It stuttered coming out of 2, and I thought, oh man, I hope that they're going to let us.
I
put
said
fuel
to
in
Farmer,
these.
we were standing in the infield, and I knew we had a lot of cautions, and I said, is anybody keeping track of laps? And he tried calling up to the tower, nobody would answer, and he opened it up because you had to have been getting close.
Yeah, I'm glad he did. We dumped 10 gallons in. Actually, I have video. We're talking about the family thing about being at Fremont. I have video of Dan McCarron, the 305 guy, and Travis Philo dumping fuel into my car because I didn't have my regular crew chief was at a wedding, and I had Clay Kirchenbauer helping me out. He was sitting in the stands, and he had asked me 5 minutes before I went out. He said, "What do we do if you have a flat tire?" And I said, "I don't do pit stops. We'll just pull in. It's not that big a deal." And then we stop and we need fuel, and I'm like.
And I don't think anybody was expecting it because normally y'all will fight for the back. And they all stopped on the front stretch. And I said to Lindsay, I think, was standing there, and you see all these guys come running, men running with their gas cans. And I heard Brian Liskey say, 1 minute left on the clock. And they were still at the little booth there in the infield. I'm like, these poor guys, they're killing themselves for this 2-minute hike across the infield.
I didn't think anything of it. I never thought that mine would have ran out of fuel. And but when we stopped, after it had started once, we stopped and Chris Gilbert, the track photographer, was standing there and said, "Dude, if this goes open red, you got to get me some fuel." So he's actually the one that ran over and got Travis, and then he ran over and got Joe.
I remember thinking in my head that I wondered if the heavy track made for less fuel or more fuel usage.
Yeah, you're on the gas
a lot
Yeah,
more.
Oh, yes.
and I remember thinking that, and we talked about a couple weeks ago at the Kings Royal, they had a open red with 1 lap to go,
Well,
and
they
I
had
just
fuel stop. That wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't an open red. That was
Yeah.
a fuel stop.
and that went through my mind when
Yeah.
I seen that. I thought, I wonder what the difference is on a dry slick track versus this heavy track.
I've used 17 gallons in a feature, and the tank, it's a 29-gallon tank, so I was down to the last 5, so I've used 24 by then already. You know, it starts to slosh a little bit when you got 5 in it.
Yeah.
So I'd used 7 more gallons already, and we were only 22 laps in.
Yeah.
So we weren't going to make it. I knew that. But I mean, if I didn't make it, I didn't make it. It's part of the deal.
There was a lot of cautions in that 410 race. You guys did really well on your. You guys had a couple cautions.
Yeah, but a couple,
But you guys pretty much everybody
Kept
for the most part
going,
finished.
Yeah.
The 410 struggled getting cars to finish.
How many finished you guys feature?
11.
11, yeah. We had 10 one time this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a track like that, though, I mean,
Yeah, it's hard to.
some guys pulled in just because of the way the track was, and some guys were pulled in.
Yeah.
Do you typically use 17 gallons? Is that
On
usually
a dry
what-
slick track, yeah, that's.
Okay.
I mean, that's for my motor. That's pretty average.
How-
Yeah.
and how much do you usually use?
Probably. My dad puts about 22 in the car.
Really?
30-gallon tank, yeah.
All night you
Yeah.
use 22.
Oh, about
Just
heat
for the
race.
feature?
Yeah,
For the main?
for the heat race, or for hot laps, the heat race. Keep about the same because we really don't use that much, and then feature we'll put more in. About 5-10 gallons, so.
Does it make a difference in the trucks then too?
Oh yeah. I try to keep as much fuel in there as we can.
So
But
you
it-
just kind of top it off? Or,
Oh yeah.
Say it burns up though.
Yeah.
'Cause usually I weigh about 15.75 or so. I come in the pits after all that mud and got on the scales 16.20 or something like that. It was a lot,
Really?
yeah.
Your car was 1571. Is that what you said?
75.5, yeah.
Oh, my car weighed 1541 a couple weeks ago.
Is it?
That's a 410 car. Maybe I need to get some lighter stuff. Let's go ahead and run the truck highlights so we can watch Kent's win and run the commercial, and then we'll come back and we'll close the show up.
The wheel out of turn 4, 20 laps lie ahead. Monty Collins gives them the green. Kent Brewer, what a move down the backstretch, squeezes into the lead. Sean Valeni tries to race the inside of Kent Brewer. Brewer shuts the door out of turn 2. Now Sean Valeni to the outside of Kent Brewer. 5 to go. Oh, here comes Stan Rupke Jr. 3 wide for the lead out of turn 4. White flag in the air. Here comes Sean Valeni, final lap, takes one stab at it, can't get it done. Kent Brewer's first win of the season at Fremont.
I'm telling you, it's our year, Ron. Oh, look, it's Mr. NASCAR.
Still have your know-how, huh?
Yep.
That's why Ron has more than 35 NHRA wins, while Martin has 2 NASCAR Nationwide Championships. Whatever. You're ugly. You want to step outside?
Sweep the leg.
We don't have legs.
Never mind.
Across the street from you guys.
Oh, I know. I
Yeah,
remember.
I didn't know if you remembered that. I
Oh,
remember you guys
yeah.
always working around in your shop.
As usual, you're missing the best stuff. The best stuff is always off the air or out there in the green room or the waiting room or whatever. But we should just turn the cameras on when you come in, Steven. Just turn the cameras on. Don't say anything to anybody.
Watch it
Come
all
in here and
happen.
sit down.
No, because then I'll have to hear all my rants.
Well, yeah, but that could be the best stuff. I mean, the controversy works because we had, Cap and DJ come on when that deal was going on.
I said
tripled our viewers.
Here, the last couple of weeks, we could have either a Cap Henry segment or a Chris Andrews segment, or I'm going to have to throw Travis Philo in there
Yeah,
because
you might
I
have
don't really know what's gotten into him, but yes, I do. It's that age thing. They think it's okay to do that stuff.
Sunday, Brian Sabito's little boy, Braxton, it was his birthday. He had a birthday party. So he invited me over with my little daughter, Camille. And we went over and we were playing baseball with one of Braxton's toys. But we had a good old time, and we were razzing him about what was going on. And I asked him how in the world did he go from the front straightaway out of his crash race car, ran all the way down the front straightaway, down into turn 3, and went and said something to Chris Andrews. And nobody touched him. Nobody stopped him or tackled him. Brian Sabito's like, I got it. I went after somebody one time, and I didn't make it 10 feet, and somebody was tackling me.
Well,
How did he make it all the way down there?
I think with Travis, it's gotten to the point that it happens so much that they all just say, you know what, just let him do it. He's going to do it anyways because he came across in his street clothes one night.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
I asked him, I said, what did you say when you got there? And he said, come on, man. I said, wait a minute. You ran all the way down there,
just to say
and that's
that.
all you said? Okay, well, I said some other choice words. But
I was with Brock Gressman in the infield. I was like, maybe he's going over there to ask him what he's doing tomorrow or something. I don't know.
That's usually what the announcer said. He's going over and invite him for dinner. But he didn't throw any punches or
It's
anything.
just, it's gotten to be more and more. So you're what, 18?
17.
17.
Yeah.
So now that I've complained about this for the last hour, you know that
Yeah, I know what it's like.
it's not okay.
Yeah. Well, it's entertaining.
It is, and
We're
the
talking
fans
about
like
it
it and
laughing
everything.
now. Yeah. The
But
fans
in the
like it when
end,
somebody goes after
it makes you look bad technically if you look at it like that.
It just makes the
You-
sport look
Yeah.
bad. You know, if you have I don't know,
Everybody
you've
loves
got.
Jack Hewitt.
Jack
Nobody
Hewitt.
loves Jack Hewitt as much as I do, and
Right.
back in the day, I loved him because of that.
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
his-
So maybe we should foster some of that and kind of, I don't know, what Farmers talked about trying to come up with controversy and stuff. Anybody you want to get in a fight with that we can? No, this guy's like the nicest guy in the world, though.
Always.
Well, and that's why I like to come to the track. I don't come to the track to get in a melee. I come to the track to race
You're not
around.
down there belly button with anybody. Or,
No. Just because I see that ain't what I come to the racetrack to, and everybody really does. But we get this mentality that there's
Get all that anger
you
worked
want
up
to win,
and
and
Well,
everything else goes out the window.
Farmer always says, you guys are the nice guys in the world, and then you put your helmets on, you're a bunch of retards.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the way it goes.
It happens,
That's the way racing is.
Well, and society's changed too. It's there's no boundaries. There's no limits to what you can do or say. You are pretty much, everybody's all into this freedom of speech, and they can, whether it's offensive or right, wrong, or indifferent, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and say whatever.
Yeah.
But that's again when you start showing really poor sportsmanship on the racetrack, then that it just is a reflection of not only yourself but
your sponsors,
the
and
sponsors
your track
and,
sponsors and your fans.
and even at the racetrack. I mean, who wants to go and take their family to the racetrack and go out for a Saturday night entertainment and go for a boxing match? That isn't what we go for. We go for racing.
I gotta tell you that this is he's one of the most entertaining guys that I find at the racetrack. And he wins the race, or he's leading the race, and my brother, who videotapes for the track and all that, so for the show and all that, he says, man, this guy's really exciting in Victory Lane. Do I need to go down and get him? And he didn't even get it out. And I said, yes, go down. If he wins, he's gonna win this race. Go down there and get him. And so he's down there smiling the whole time. He's videoing your whole Victory Lane. I got all that at home. I put some of it in the opening, but you didn't see the opening. Maybe we can play it for him later. But he gets out, and you kind of tried to do the stand on the door thing like Art did and like Sean did, and you kind of like had one step, sort of, and then you got hugs from everybody, and then you're bouncing around. And my brother described you as like a 4-year-old in a candy store that has to go to the bathroom. You're wiggling like that.
So excited.
But that's all part of the entertainment. I mean, you're always animated, and that's what makes it entertaining to watch.
Always smiling.
And when it takes so long to get a win, you really feel that win is really important.
Now, on the other side of the spectrum, my daughter, 16-year-old daughter, says, ask Jordan a question. Why doesn't he smile in his victory lane photos?
I don't know.
There's no animation.
Yeah, I just real calm kid, and I don't like talk a lot or anything.
Oh,
so
you're
it just
sporting
stays.
the Travis Philo.
Oh,
Should
yeah.
come over here and give him a hard time.
I like Philo, so
I do
thought I'd
too.
sport him.
He's a friend of the family. I like to give him a hard time.
Maybe just I mean, we did get a little bit of a stage, or on top of your cage, kind of woohoo thing. So
that's the best I can do. I ain't climbing on that wing because I figured I can get up there, but I'm not gonna jump down. So I don't
just do it
stand
like
up
Rico
there.
Abreu does. Just jump down into your mechanics.
Yeah.
Just do it like that.
I'm sure my dad would let me do that.
You're only 16 or 17.
17, yeah.
And your dad said to me today that sometimes you can hear people booing in the stands. As a 17-year-old, you can look at it as you're winning so much. Are you okay over there? Okay. You're winning so much that they're sick of seeing you. That's always a good thing. I've always said, you hear them boo Steve Kinzer. They're booing Steve Kinzer because they're tired of seeing him. Not that they don't like him, but you want to see somebody. Do you struggle with that? Does that bother you?
Well, I think of it as just a better thing. You must be doing something right if you're getting booed. So.
Because you're not really a dirty racer, and you're not. You're a pretty clean racing kid. So I just wondered, your dad had commented to me that you can hear that.
Yeah. Don't really bother me too much. So. Yeah.
Well, this is anything else that you wanted to shoot out? I'll tell you what. I'm gonna say one thing here. He wins a race, okay? And these two little kids come down to my trailer and to get autographs, so we get pictures away every week, whatever. And they got a handful of cookies in their hands. And I said, well, where'd you get those cookies? And they're like, the 8 truck over there. He's giving away cookies. I'm like, I signed the thing for him real quick, and me and my 2 daughters went running over there, and he had 1 cookie left. And which was great. I mean, I shared in your victory, good for you. I split it between the 3 of us. You gave one of them a Laffy Taffy, where everybody's having a good time. And your wife says, I felt bad that you only got 1 cookie. So she brings in 2 plates of cookies.
Oh yeah, and it wouldn't. We wouldn't get to the racetrack if it wouldn't be for my wife every Saturday.
I was hoping you'd give her a shout out.
I was giving you a chance for that.
She does. My wife and
And you guys have probably been together. I want to say junior high, high school.
We were high school sweethearts. Yep. And we used to go to the racetrack before we were married and watch legends at the track. That's what we used to do for a date for Saturday night before we got married. And then we've been to the racetrack. She's been to every race that I've ever been.
And I have to ask you, did she go shopping after Saturday?
No.
This man never picks up his pay. Never. There's times where I have 6 or 7 of his checks, and I am not kidding you. No, he never does. And she was there Saturday, though. She said she was going shopping.
And it's not that I don't need the money. It's just like what I say. It's that I cannot take money for having that much fun doing racing. That is just going to Fremont Speedway is just an honor. I can't say that enough.
One of the questions I was going to ask him was, what does it mean to you to win at Fremont Speedway? And it just naturally, we started from the beginning. He's been telling us since the beginning.
It is. It's
what
just,
it means. So.
It does, and I can't say that enough. And more so than the people of Fremont Speedway. That's what it is. I'm just a participant, but it takes everybody that goes there every Saturday night. All the track workers, Rich, Shelley, everybody in the tower, the safety workers. I've never realized how little the safety workers get recognized, but how important
and
they
none of them guys do. We started this year. We do a push truck deal for the push truck guys because they come and volunteer their time every Saturday, their gas.
Yep.
We don't fill up their trucks for them. Whoever pushes out the feature winner, we give them $50. So
cool.
Whoever pushes out feature winners during that night, we give them $50. But we don't think of that enough. We, even as us ourselves. We don't think about that, what people do. And I say that a lot of times. I get frustrated on Saturday when people are just, you go there and it just sucks the life out of you when they're just beating you up. And but what it takes to get into it, we don't get anything out of it.
No.
I mean, other than just the fact that we love the place. So
Right.
it's nice to have somebody like you who actually loves the place
I
too.
do,
And you
I do, and
You're
I-
not tweeting it. It's a show.
I
or
can't
something.
wait till Saturday. Even though I don't get there until race time, I can't wait to get there.
He's always
Let's
late.
talk about that for a minute. That's, we
I see
mentioned this
him rolling by my trailer like in college all the time. I'm like, oh my god.
No kidding.
No worries.
Well, usually race day is Saturday, and so that's the day we prep the car, and it's not ready to go until it's ready. So,
So you don't work on it until Saturday?
well, no, we'll get a lineup, we'll get a list of things to do, but race day is Saturday, and that's when we work on the car, is Saturday morning, and by the time I get to the racetrack, I am pumped up, because we just spent all morning preparing this car, having this thing in a million pieces.
We've actually made jokes of, we can't start yet. Kent Brewer has not signed in yet. We
Right.
really need to wait till he'll be here.
Well, and seeing something like that, knowing that somebody at the back gate signs me in to just because they know that I'm on my way, I'll say I'm en route, and that is really local. That is a local community, good people. It's like, man, that's what
Yeah.
what we go to race at Fremont for. So for that reason.
Wiggly is a 4-year-old. That's
So you're going to go home and tell all your 17 to 25-year-old buddies that you guys don't have the right outlook?
Oh yeah. Talk to follow
Poor
Chris
Jim,
and
Yeah, you're getting a learning right here
Yeah.
next to this guy.
Well, and after a while, we all realize what we really have, and if you don't
does.
really,
Some of these guys don't remember. I remember Fremont Speedway growing grass,
I do too.
sitting idle, and
Yeah.
that's where, look at all the racetracks around that are
And
going
I have
under.
participated at several racetracks that are defunct now, and
Yeah.
that's why I come to Fremont Speedway and
It's a
just
horrible thing to go walk around. Have you been out to any of those, like McCutcheonsville?
Hutchinsville,
It sucks. I don't
Mansfield
know.
Speedway was beautiful
he
racetrack.
said that was a good
Beautiful.
racetrack. My dad used to race there.
Yeah, and it's just closed up,
Yeah.
and nobody, and that's the reason why I think them places close up, because they don't have local support,
Yeah.
local enthusiasm from the community,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it Fremont.
Yep.
So-
We definitely get that. We definitely have people who care.
All right, well, we got one more thing we got to do here. You haven't seen the show, so I don't know if you saw it out there in the waiting room. There's a bunch of pictures hanging on the wall. All right, so what you got to do is take this marker, put this on your head, draw your truck, put the 8K on it, and then you can take it down and we'll show everybody, and then we'll have you autograph it for us, and it'll be hanging out there with the rest of the legends. So
Now-
there's no time limit or anything. Jordan's already done one of these, so you can check
Oh,
it out.
thank God.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I probably couldn't draw if I had it in front of me, let alone putting it on
that's the
my
best part.
head.
Did you see any of them out there?
Yeah. So it's like, well, let's try it, but
practice.
I think
Yeah. So normally people start with the wheels. That's been the best. But I'm not going to tell you how to do it because you drive a truck.
do I get more than one chance?
No, you get
One shot.
One shot, yeah.
I've seen your brother Keith at the races. I've been seeing him. Does he help you out, or is he?
Well, yeah, Keith comes to the track for
I
moral
seen him.
support.
He was one of the guys running to the front stretch during the 410
Oh, yeah,
red.
You can
I
draw while
wasn't.
we talk. That's the
Oh,
point.
okay.
I wasn't real sure where he was going, and
with, you know what, and there it is again. There's nothing like when you can win on the front straightaway and have your brothers, your sister, your wife, your mother-in-law, your nieces, nephews, all the family and friends
I
of
thought Mike
everybody.
Luchire was going to smother you.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
pulled you out of the truck.
That's what really
Mike's a
makes
good
it.
guy too.
Oh yeah, Mike and Tina, Mike really helped me out. Now this isn't gonna work.
There's a lot of squares going on.
I was gonna say.
Did you see that?
Well, he's got an older style body,
Yeah.
S10, so maybe that's
Yeah.
gonna be just right.
It's a block, all right.
Is Sean leading the points at Fremont in the truck?
He's blowing her away.
Is he blowing it away?
Oh yeah.
Nobody will touch Sean.
I don't know what's going on
Does it
over
look
there.
like a
in
truck?
there.
That's
Wow, all right. Well, it's got wheels.
Yeah, it's got wheels. It's kind of like Thomas the Train, but that's
Not bad.
no, that's not too bad. Go ahead and autograph that for us and hang that out. Eventually, that'll be in the Hall of Fame when you make it up there.
Maybe, huh? I don't think so.
Well, if nothing else, they'll get you in as a promoter because you're definitely doing a good job
No
promoting
kidding.
the
We
racetrack.
need more
How's
racer
that? There we
promoters
go.
Oh, I
like
forgot
that.
the B. I'm sorry, 8K.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming back
No
in,
problem.
Jordan.
Yep.
Jordan's a repeat offender.
Thank you for having me on. And
Keep up the good work. And
Definitely. Again, I want to tell you, I didn't get to see your front stretch. Classy, classy, classy. I
Oh,
heard it
thank
from
you.
my office.
Tried to be.
It's cool that you acknowledge that. So
Thank you.
I wanted to shout that out too.
all right. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hopefully, we plan on being back next Tuesday at 7.
We need to figure out some air
Uh,
conditioning issues
yeah.
in here or something.
Pretty hot.
Yeah.
Like a sauna.
It is a little warm, but so we're gonna quit just because it's warm in here. So
Saturday night, bring a friend night.
Absolutely.
Buy one, get one free pizzas from Fort Baugh. I think that's what's going on this weekend.
All right, sounds good. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter and all those different places, and join us back next week. Thanks for watching The Last Lap Live.